Joining us now, we go to the House Minority Leader, Congressman Kevin McCarthy is with us tonight. You have taken a strong and principled stand, similarly, that this is about life and death. You also are from California. You have seen the impact in your state, most recently with police officer Singh in his particular case.
I saw with Officer Singh and his family. The individual who murdered him was arrested in my county on his way back to Mexico. What's going on and what the president sounded like tonight, I thought he was very strong, very confident, and talked just about the facts. I've watched this president from the moment there could be possibility of a partial shutdown, try to find a solution. Be here in Washington. Call the individuals in. And when we met last week, Wednesday, before that leadership race, we could tell Nancy Pelosi could do nothing until the speaker race happened. Remember how close that was. Those individuals had to vote present for her to win speaker. But this president has stayed with this. And for all the viewers, they have to understand what he's asking. So you really know who's shutting this down. He's just asking for 10% of what our government gave away to foreign governments last year. The $56 billion they gave away, he just wants $5.6 billion to secure our border. That's why the Democrats are saying
Are the Republicans in the House and Senate, I'm not worried about the president. We kind of learned that if he says he's going to pick a fight and he believes in something strongly, in this case he's talking about human lives, about serious violent crimes among a very small percentage because the borders are open, and drug and human trafficking. Are the Republicans in the House and Senate, are they willing to stand behind him for as long as it takes? I think that's what a lot of conservatives want to answer tonight. Congressman.
I think the American public has seen that. Because this isn't just about a party, this is about a country. You know, I was not even in Congress in 2006 when Schumer voted for that. They promised the American public that we would have 700 miles of fencing. It's about time someone stood up and made it happen what they promised the American public they would do. We've watched, and for the Democrats to say there's not a crisis, this is what happens in those meetings, Sean. When Secretary Nielsen goes to provide facts, not something she's made up, but something that's happening along the border, those 17,000 individuals who were stopped along the border that had a criminal record, or those 800 gang members that have been stopped, these are just things that have happened along the southern border. Nancy Pelosi would interrupt her so she could not speak. By the third meeting where Secretary Nielsen finally got a word out, she just started, I don't believe your facts. I don't believe your facts. This is the problem that we have. Democrats do not want to listen to really what's happening. The amount of drugs. The president laid it out. The amount of people who are dying, more than in the Vietnam War. We have a crisis on our border. He's standing up for it. And I will tell you this. Our conference stands with him, and we have resolve to see this through, just what was promised to the American public back in 2006, where Schumer voted for it.
Schumer, Hillary, Obama, many of the Biden, they all voted for it.
The whole group.
It was interesting, the exchange you referred to, and that was between Nancy Pelosi and Secretary Nielsen. And I don't believe your facts. And they're not my facts, they're the facts. The secretary, I thought, had a good response.
Exactly.
The facts that she spoke about in this 2-year period, 4,000 homicides that were committed by illegal aliens, 30,000 sex crimes, 100,000 violent assaults. That's not drugs and that's not human trafficking. And by the way, people on both sides of the border, those that make that arduous journey, the 98% that want what we take for granted, more freedom, more opportunity for themselves, their families, their kids, their grandkids. We're not talking about them. But if they can cross over seeking a job, so too can the criminal element, potential terrorist elements, which also have been stopped at the border.
We've watched that many times before. And what's happening inside these meetings, and I'm thankful the president's calling us back again, because this president wants to find common ground. Watch what he has said. He's moved from a concrete barrier to make sure that they had slats. He's talked about other elements that the Democrats talked about. In those meetings, every Democrat will say they're for border security. So then I ask the question, well, what's your definition of border security? Who in America today believes you could have border security with not some form of a barrier? We've watched what happened in San Diego. El Paso has become one of the safest cities because they have a barrier. We watched in Yuma, Arizona. What's happened is those illegal crossings have dropped more than 90%. We know it works. We know we need it. We know we have to use technology as well. This is where the president has stood strong. He is standing strong for the American public, but more importantly, he's the one person in the room that's trying to find compromise where the Democrats will not move at all.
All right, Kevin McCarthy, the House Minority Leader, thank you for being with us. And